Hey guys, welcome and ting and ting and ting, and let's go into some mythical creatures and thing. You know what I mean? I don't just like the history of a country, as far as the wars are concerned and the political stuff is concerned. I also like the mythical stuff. So we're gonna look at some. This one is called "Mythical Creatures of a Romanian Folklore" Part One. So we're gonna find out about some mythical creatures and thing. You know what I mean? And I know some people go, "Oh my God, that's all. Forget it." But you don't want to forget the history where we kill each other. You know what I mean? That's real history. The fact that people believe certain things back then and think certain things are the way they are uh, should be forgotten. And I'm not saying everybody's like that. I'm saying I've ran into that before when I do stuff on other mythical creatures. You know what I mean? If people didn't think like that back then maybe we wouldn't be where we are. So we have to start somewhere to progress, or we have to start somewhere to explain the way life is as best we can at the time we live in. Things that we believe now, in the future, people are going to go say, "Oh my God, I can't believe they believe that. That's stupid." We got to forget that. Same thing, instead of learning from it. So let's go ahead and YouTube and simmer here and see what we could learn about what they believed and all these and why they believed in all these mystical and creatures and stuff. Maybe we might get some little understanding of life. Let's go. Let's go. Talking too much.
Welcome to the mystical world of Romanian folklore, where myths and legends come to life through a tapestry of captivating creatures and fearsome monsters. Romanians and Moldovans have plenty of superstitions about the undead, about various forest spirits, giants, fairies and other magical and gruesome creatures. In this video, we will provide an extensive alphabetical list of the monsters and creatures featured in Romanian folklore. Before we start, don't forget to show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel, as we'll be bringing you more awesome stories, myths and legends.
That music, man.
Sympathy. Translated as Saturday's water, it is a river that springs forth from beneath the tree of life situated in paradise. It marks the boundary between the two worlds, heaven and hell, and it is the source of all waters on the earth. After encircling the earth 7 or 9 times, a journey during which the water becomes less and less pure, the river pours into hell. According to legends, anything that falls into this water becomes lost, never to be found again.
Never heard of that one.
Balar. A fantastic, giant creature, similar to a dragon, often taking the form of a serpent. It has wings and multiple heads, 3, 7, 9, or even 12, embodying evil and featuring in the majority of Romanian folktales. There are 3 types of Balar. Aquatic, who dwells in village wells and various bodies of water. Terrestrial, inhabiting chasms and desolate places. Aerial, associated with clouds, rain and storms. Borza, a frightening female creature that scares children in their sleep. She appears in their dreams and frightens them, looking like an ugly, angry woman with a large mouth and black lips. Borza is invoked in various sayings and proverbs to frighten disobedient children.
See, now there's an explanation for it. Whether they believe it or not, it's used to discipline children in essence. You know what I mean? That's what this character is used to do. If you don't behave yourself, this creature will appear to you in your sleep and scare you. You know what I mean? So most kids, I don't know, back then it probably scared the kids into being disciplined. Today it's probably going to scare the kids and they're going to have psychological problems and they're going to have to go to the psychiatrist and get counseling and stuff like that because you scare them, you know what I'm saying? And but back then it was used to discipline the kid. You know what I mean? The kid wake up, he's going to go to bed at some point. He's going to fall asleep. He's going to be scared, or he's going to just behave. And the fact that it's a psychological thing to a certain degree too, because he goes to bed, and he's because he's good during the day. This is not going to appear to him. It's the same thing like telling a kid, if you don't behave, the police will come. But in essence, they start to make the kid scared of somebody that they should be not scared of. You know what I'm saying? Whereas a mythical creature, the kid would never see one of those ever. But then they just believe that he's there, so they're going to behave themselves. I know my mom used to use certain creature, certain folklore stuff to scare me. If I don't do that, Jumbie gonna come get me. You know what I'm saying and things. So it served its purpose back then. Now that would probably be considered child abuse. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going here.
Bracknellay. Strange fairies, sly and mischievous woodland spirits, who were sometimes deceitful, other times playful. They weren't regarded as harmful, their role being limited to frightening travellers passing through the forest at night. These creatures are composed of mixed limbs from animals, birds and insects. Kolor Nastrovan. Translated as the Enchanted Horse, a mythical creature similar to Pegasus from Greek mythology. It is a horse with supernatural powers. It speaks with humans, possesses enchanted objects, predicts the future, flies and breathes fire. It aids and advises positive heroes in all of their adventures.
Again, probably used to explain why a person is so heroic. He's got to have some kind of mythical something, talking to him and telling him to do these things. Much like the Christians use God, or any other religions use their religious beliefs. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a superhero. You know what I mean? There's something like Superman came from outer space, a place where we can't explain. And he's got all these superpowers. Something from outer space gave him those superpowers. You know what I mean? A mythical creature makes the hero a hero. I guess in a way psychology have come along and start explaining why people do what they do in certain situations. It's a fight or flight, you know what I mean? Survival is a big one, you know what I mean? Everything else is just motivation. Secondary motivation, really. Patriotism, nationalism. That's a secondary motivation. At least that's the way I see it. My opinion. Don't crucify me for it. No pun intended.
Caprina. A horrifying, cannibalistic creature similar to an ogre, who kidnaps children or young ladies. It is a giant dog-headed monster who lives in caves and dark forests. This malevolent giant devours everything he catches and destroys entire villages.
No, that kind of sounds like the Ligaroo. That we have a creature back home called Ligaroo. Now, where I'm from, it's kind of tame. They just suck your blood. But in other parts, and in Haiti, they actually kidnap kids and and rip them to shreds and stuff like that in some parts. So that sounds similar to it. I'm looking for similarities here, you know what I mean? Of course, a lot of the creatures in the New World is sort of a combination of creatures from other cultures, really, you know what I mean? Because in the Caribbean, most of our mythological stuff is of African origin. However, because of the colonizers like the French and the Spanish and the Dutch, you know what I mean, and all these people, the Portuguese, but yeah, sorry, I got kind of stumped there. But anyway, a lot of it got incorporated. It's like, okay, there's a creature back home on the island called oh man, I do believe it's a mama melody. That's what we call it. But an Irish, Mama Bridget, there's a saint, an Irish saint called Saint Bridget. And there's sort of a marriage between the two. And I'll tell you why that is because in order to keep the African religion going, or when voodoo was an African religion, to keep it going, they sort of married, for lack of a better word, into Catholicism some of the voodoo beliefs. So certain saints and certain apostles were likened to certain mythical African belief systems or people, heroes or prophets. They were sort of, okay, so this is like this. And that's what happened with Mama and Bridget and Saint Bridget of the Catholic faith. See what I'm saying there? Let's keep going.
What's wrong, sir? A malevolent, hideous creature and a really powerful old witch. She embodies the negative character from which the heroes of Romanian fairy tales must stay away at all costs. She is also a renowned healer and a skilled midwife with magical powers, a dangerous witch you wouldn't want to provoke. Nickel. A monster that looks like a terrifying pig, the offspring of the union between the devil and a woman. Immediately after birth, it starts to run around, squeal, and bite everyone in the house. To get rid of it, the midwife has to wrap it up and open the oven door for it to enter the fire and die incinerated. Crevets. Personified as an elderly man, it is the frigid wind from the northeast that manifests during winter in the eastern regions of Romania. He appears as an old wizard with an icy physique, hair resembling snow, and a beard and mustache adorned with frost.
Santa?
The Osma. A malevolent fairy who presides over illnesses and brings various forms of death into the world. She looks like a sinister woman with a terrifying grin and icy breath. It is believed that Osma can take the form of an illness, such as the plague or cholera. Yelili. Supernatural female creatures, similar to forest sirens. These fairies dance on full moonlit nights, holding candles in their hands and having bells on their ankles, luring and strangling innocent travelers. Sometimes they drive them to madness, other times they suffocate them with their embraces, or drown them in swamps. In the places where they dance, the ground remains scorched, and grass no longer grows. These are the so-called Yelili circles.
There's something similar. The one little aspect of it there is that's similar is there's one on the island called Elijah Bless, and she catches travelers too, you know, and whenever she kidnaps them, she either kills them or drives them mad. So there's a sort of similarity there. The rest of it is not too similar. The scorched ground and stuff like that, no. But that one part about taking travelers, and back then mainly travelers were men traveling from village to village. I'm not saying there wasn't women too, but you know what I mean. Then the men went out and did all the stuff, you know, the hunting and all of that. So, you know, it could mean beware of those wild women. They will drown you, they will starve you, they will stab you, or they will do anything like that. So that could be a reason for something like that to have been believed then. You know what I mean? Kind of the same thing because, you know, just like in Romania, where because of industrialization and all this lights and modern stuff, a lot of these old tales would be hard to tell. You know what I mean? Or hard to believe. Back then they were easy to believe because everything, there was no street lights, it was all dark when you're traveling, you know, you're traveling by torch and stuff like that, you know what I mean? You only see a certain distance in front of you. Now you could just shine a big light and whoop, you could see like a quarter mile down the road, you know what I mean, and thing. So yeah, let's get on.
Gidovi. exceptionally tall and very powerful giants. According to legends, the waters of the Danube River only reached their ankles, and they could snatch a tree without any effort. They lived in caves and thick woods, and were kind, patient, and friendly to humans, which they considered their successors. The age of giants came to an end with the Great Flood.
I guess those were my cousins. It's still why people like me so much. And by the way, the age of the giants ain't dead. I'm still here. I couldn't help that one. But yeah. Hey, you know what I mean? Hopefully, when I visit Romania, they won't say, "Hey, there's one of those people, one of those giants from ancient time, and take me down." Hey, just a little joke here, man. Let's keep going.
Maritza, a mythological creature resembling an old, tall, and ugly woman, a justiciary figure who fights against laziness. She is the patron of spinning and weaving. She punishes lazy young women, and sometimes young men, by pinching their fingers, crushing their nails with a hammer, or burning their hands with hot ashes. Despite such harsh punishments, she is perceived as a stern yet fair judge. Maritza dwells in desolate woods, or within the hearts of towering mountains. Maritza, a malefic entity that lives up in the mountains, and can shapeshift at will. It descends on Tuesday nights to punish women who are working. Maritza's punishments are harsh. It kills by ripping or by hanging on nails to the wall in case of unmarried women. For the married women, the punishments are killing or possessing their babies or their husbands who are far from home.
A man came up with that. It had to be a dude that came up with this one, you know what I mean? Keep those women in check, you know what I mean? Do as we say here, or this creature will come get you and maim you, take your kid, terrorize your husband. You know what I mean? That had to be a man that came up with that one for some social, how should I put it? Social conditioning.
Rumori. These are the souls of murdered children, or those who have died unbaptized. They wander tormented between worlds and suffer perpetually, because they weren't baptized and cannot rest in peace. These spirits come out at night from their graves as ghosts, to inflict harm upon the living. When the mother is the one who ended the child's life, Rumori tortures her in her sleep. Muma Paduri.
No, that one is a given there. It's probably that's probably an extra to make people go to church and things like that, or to have their children baptized. Better have the children baptized. If they don't, they'll be roaming the earth, with nowhere to go. You know what I mean? And of course, to stop women from parenticide, I think they call it, from killing their kids. If you do that, this is going to happen to you, because going to jail or even execution is not enough. You're going to be, you know what I mean? You're going to be haunted for the rest of your life. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to kill your kid and have your kid haunt you for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? Which is going to happen anyway if you do it. So, psychologically speaking, it's going to mess with you unless there's something wrong with you mentally, so some deep psychological issues going on there. There was just a case here where this woman killed 2 of her kids like 3 weeks ago. And they're trying to figure out what the deal is, because she used to be like a really normal person before. And they're trying to figure it out. I don't know, I thought about that there because I just read it in the news yesterday. Let's keep going.
Translated as the Mother of the Forest, an old and powerful witch who guards and protects the forest, the fauna and flora inside it. She punishes those who do not respect the forest rules or harm nature, sometimes transforming them into wild animals. But often, Muma Paduri is presented as a much more evil creature who wanders through forests, seeking to kill solitary travelers, to frighten them or drive them mad. It is also said that she steals children from their cradles or makes them sick. This is why in Romanian folklore there is a large variety of spells used against her.
I ain't gonna lie, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I know I was like, saying a little funny stuff and all of that. This is a part of history, it's part of a culture. We have a lot of it in the Caribbean. I could give you names of different mythical creatures and stuff. And being part of the New World, like I said earlier, a lot of other mythical creatures from other cultures have incorporated themselves into our culture, which makes a frightening childhood when I was younger. I know to this day they still probably use some of it, and I know they do, because we have the carnival, and the carnival that we have portrays some of these characters still. So I know, especially if you go to the countryside, which I believe somebody's going to say out in the rural areas of Romania, they still believe some of these things, or still hold fast to some of these mythical creatures and stuff. Not believe so much, but hold fast to them. Same thing on the island where I'm from. People, you go up to the countryside and they hold fast to some of the mythical creatures and stories and folklore that the island had back in the past. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you did too. If you did, drop a like on this video for me and share the video, you know what I mean? Because we want to teach our people about our past. And that's the point of me reacting to these videos and stuff like that. I want to learn about your past, and I want other people to learn about this, so other people could watch this with me watching it and learn something about it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you also like this vibe, go ahead and subscribe, you know what I mean? And hit the notification button so you know when I put out a new video. Comment down below, tell me what you think. Obviously, this is part 1, so there's going to be more. So ones that you all know that's not in here, probably going to come up in the next installment of this, okay? In the meantime, you all take care of each other, all right? Cool runnings.